Okay, a thought that I actually have to try to figure out, try to walk through. Okay, so one of the things about the Freemasonic order, Oddfellows, things like that is fraternity, and the ideal of having brothers, because men can literally pick each other out from a distance for who is the one that they have to get in a group, like who's the dominant person in a group. Like, this is body language. It'll also follow certain patterns of size, and and you'll get the times where it's like the odd, the short guy in the group is the leader, that that'll happen. It's not that this is a consistent, like, it follows height. It tends to, but really that's not. I mean, there's totally different dynamics going on. There's a deeper set of dynamics going on. So, but this could be spotted, though, when you're watching the crowd, when you're watching a group of men from a distance. You can see that's likely the boss. That's likely this person in the group. That other person is likely this type in this group. So something that I started to just think about was so the manosphere has discussed a lot how social media can sort of makes the natural vanity of women, and sort of their misunderstanding of how the wall, that the wall beats them all. But the internet doesn't say that, and the internet is like a fake market. It's sort of like it's a bunch of advertisements. It's not the market itself. At some point, somebody has to deliver the product. The exchange of money has to be made, and somebody has to deliver. And so hence even the idea of why men look down on simping, the idea that paying the e-girl, the simping, that it's, no, you paid for an advertisement, you never got the delivery. So the internet has a quality of being nothing but advertisement, but delivery is real world, and that's a whole other set of, again, deeper dynamics. How it gets to you, what it's worth once you got it. In life, in just generally, compared to what you thought it was in the advertisement. And the internet advertises a lot about culture. It says things are going to be fantastic. If it were just like this, we could construct it on the internet. Oh, see, watch out. Cerebus is after me. Escape, Cerebus, escape. That's one fierce guard dog right there. Have a good one. And so it's so cute. Oh my god, this thing's so tiny too. So you get, this world of advertisement, and so now we're just getting sold wolf tickets. Like every news story, almost everything about life on the internet is just somebody selling us wolf tickets now, just total bullshit. And that no matter how much you pay, it'll never come out like that. And CNN just found this out to the score of $300 million. Just to kind of give an example of how my mind's wrapping around a lot of this. But one of the things that has fascinated me, and it was because of a negative that popped up, almost like a sibling rivalry among people on the right over the last few days. I'm sure all of you now are more than aware of this little bit of fighting going on with some fellas on the right side of politics. Rather infamous fellows who've been kicked off of every platform. So, one of the things, though, that the internet delivered was fraternity. Okay, so the dating game, this is the weird part. Once men knew about game, once they could even kind of act on it, what did you start to see? That there were guys who were like, yeah, I went out there and I started doing it, but they started to find that they weren't really finding somebody who they really, 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 really liked, like it wasn't happening. Like they were like, yeah, I'm getting lucky, but not getting really what the advertisement said. I'm getting something, and I'm still trying to get that, rare model that I was hoping for, but it doesn't seem to be out there. A rare model called potential mother material, potential wife material, doesn't seem to be out there. So but the only way they can learn about game is other men telling them. This is the thing that I think really, really is just an unknown to women. Because for women, this is not the same thing. That women share information about how to attract the opposite sex. Like they teach each other how to do something different with nails and hair. Tell each other where to get certain items of clothing and this and that. But with that's men. That's not. We don't really know why women like us. It's taken not until the internet, and so not until the era of space travel that men have passed on the very idea of game. Because we have sort of charm as an idea, I guess a word that we've used, but I mean, game, everybody knows exactly what's going on with that. So it's no, apparently we didn't really have a term for this at some point, or a word or something. So men passing on this kind of information, men talking to each other. One of the things that this hit me is this is expanded fraternity. The Freemasons and Oddfellows and things like that, one of the things that they really concentrated on was the idea of brotherhood. This was a really big deal. That idea of keeping together the brotherhood and that matters. And when I met a really old Freemason, he was talking about traveling and going to different lodges and just meeting guys who, when he got there, they called him brother. And I was and at the time there was some article that I had read where somebody was saying that it was some guy talking about it was after the divorce or something, but he goes, there's nothing like when a man genuinely calls you a brother. And it was interesting because when this guy, it brought me back to that statement by that old Freemason, that he's traveled the world. Some of some of the best lodges in the world have been outside of the United States, and so he must have met a lot of brothers. He was an old dude. He was in his 90s. And it was interesting because at some point I got to see him actually get an award. He was just the humblest character. And all the other guys, they were kind of fancy with all their medals and stuff. I think he had one medal of some sort, and it was he was a neat dude. It was one of their public ceremonies where they had some awards or something, and the passing of the chairs or something like that. And so this it suddenly hit me where you see this thing that's popped up with women's vanity becoming so terrible that it's actually destroying their dating market, and where us guys, we have this sort of weird, we've made the internet sort of this great frat house, great lectorium, this place, this contest zone of contests of ideas and will. And I just was thinking about like that, about that is there, because of the whole idea of like, as you get kind of spiritual and a bit more religious, it's that kind of feeling like, was that supposed to happen like that? But just think about this. Without men on the internet sharing mainly information that they gathered when we were formerly in military services, there's a lot of this stuff that's being disclosed now nobody would have ever heard of. I mean, who fucking knows how bad things would be right now without what we did? And just telling each other. Like, and people like me, that I listened to people who had been in the military service and sharing my information about science and warfare, and then bouncing it off of you guys, and that it becomes then this contest of ideas and electorium at the same time. Yeah, and I just think about that now. I wonder how they're gonna pull that off. Oh, I see. That's what you're up to. Yeah, but there will be one. There's kind of this miraculous quality to it, But two, then it really started to hit me. I was like, no, this is one day. There's going to be people looking back. I'm like, these fellas saved the world. Now, there's also a lot of women who are going to deserve credit, like George Webb's former partner in investigations and stuff. That lady who he thinks got assassinated, fundamentally, if I remember correctly. That or something died in a nefarious way, under nefarious circumstances. Maybe that's more a correct way of saying it. Ollie, that does not sound, when I say it out loud, it doesn't sound right. Why doesn't it sound right, Ollie? Am I using all these words incorrectly? Okay, that's the new farmers market. That's what that is, I think. But it took them 30 years to build it. 30 years. Practically. It's something like that. Oh my God. I remember moving here and people are like, yeah, the mall changed a few years ago into this type of mall. Now they're tearing down the mall. It took 30 years to build a farmer's market. That's something else. Oh, but now now I'm also laughing more. I think that's the other thing, is to get the perspective of other men, or especially the idea of, you gotta laugh. You just gotta laugh. I mean, that if there's nothing else, the internet has given me the perspective of other fellas, and how not to sweat the small stuff. Yeah. There's still boards up over the windows at City Hall. Holy crap. All right, later.